this guy will turn up with his DeWalt in hand, and he has to drill it. Hi, good morning. It is now the next day after the lighting customer yesterday. I am up and about on my way to go and have a look at some of these locks. Don't know what I'm going to do at this job. It's a mystery box. I forgot what they actually asked me to come out for. That's a common occurrence in my day-to-day life. You get the odd mystery box, but it's fine. I think it's just a change of lock, in fairness. Feeling a little bit more positive this morning. Just on the way to do that, and then it is off to a equine vets to go and do an install of a few locks and a few things there, and a doorbell. And yeah, a little bit more positive this morning. I've got a couple of things to tidy up, a few jobs to finish. It's sunnier today. It's a little bit nicer weather. It's be positive. I've got a Buchanan Monster on the go. Because every day you need one of them. So job one done. Nice simple one. Changed a couple of tubular latches, put some handles back on for the customer who's there barely held on with a couple of screws, and changed the front door lock. Nice, easy, simple job. Customer's paid. Absolutely fantastic start to the day. Off to the vets. Had a little bit of a detour before we go to the vets today. Decided to pop in and see my mum, and obviously get some lunch while we're there. So yeah, bit of cheese on toast. We're ready to crack a lack in and on to the next job. Well, what a difference a day makes. The vets have had all their new locks, nice shiny new locks put on, nice and secure, and yeah, just no hassle today. Just a nice chilled day, fitting some locks, changing some locks, and making my way home. It's gonna be a nice early, well, I say it's an early finish. It's an early finish in my normal round. You never know what will come in later on in the day, but I'm losing half the stuff that's on my seat right now. That's always handy. Yeah, just a good day. And this is one of the downsides, I guess you could call it. 7:45 at night, just settled down, had my dinner, and get called out again. So it's never ending. So if anybody is if you're looking to become a locksmith, this is one of the downsides, I guess you could call it. But yeah, off to go and remove a broken key. So there is a topic that I actually want to touch on a little bit, which is more like a public service announcement, I guess. So in our industry, and with a lot of industries in sort of various trades, we have issues with people being overcharged by we're talking hundreds of pounds, not tens of pounds. In the locksmith industry, we call them 49ers or 39ers, 29ers, 59ers. And what you'll see, if you can literally do this right now, if you Google locksmith near me and you look at the adverts, first 2 or 3 you'll probably see will say locksmith on your doorstep within 20 minutes from £39. This is not the case. This is what's called a bait and switch scheme. So these borderline criminals, unfortunately, because this industry is not regulated, and all of the good locksmiths that you'll find we want regulation to stop this kind of thing, because we have to pick up the pieces afterwards. So it's called a bait and switch scheme. So the from £39, from £49, that fee is to literally get this guy who will turn up in his car with a drill in his hand, with some basic stock in his boot, and that will get him to your door. He will then tell you, no matter what the issue is, you could have just pulled the door shut behind you, which 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, any good locksmith will get you into your house without any damage to your locks or your door. This guy will turn up with his DeWalt in hand, tell you you've got a high security cylinder in your door, and he has to drill it. He will then proceed to sell you a new high security piece of shit that he's bought from Screwfix for £200-300. He'll also charge a drilling fee. Normally it's around sort of 120, and he will also charge a lock changing labour. to swap out the new lock. If you've seen any tutorials on YouTube, some cylinder swaps is a case of removing one screw and putting a new one in. So by the time he's got you in by drilling your lock, you're looking at somewhere in the region of about there is no upper limit. I've seen receipts from people who have been ripped off. One was £2,500. I can fit a new composite door on your property for a good probably £800 less. But we get a lot of people, obviously they phone up and you give them a price. Now, being open and sort of transparent about things, like my labour charge is £85. Now, if I'm going to a lockout and I'm charging you £85, that is £85 for as long as it takes me to get you into your property. So I don't charge by the hour or anything like that. If I'm scratching my head after 2.5 hours, that's on me at the end of the day. The £85 might seem steep in the first instance, but when you end up a victim of these bait and switch schemes, you end up, hundreds of pounds down, and they will get aggressive if you don't pay, especially if you're female, if you're elderly, but they will take advantage of these vulnerable situations. Now, obviously, as a locksmith, we technically are taking advantage of a shitty situation. If you've locked yourself out, you pulled the door shut behind you. Everyone's done it. I've done it. Because I can get myself back in again. But these guys, they are parasites. And it's quite soul destroying, because we kind of get that reputation of being rip-off merchants just because the ones that you hear about in the media and things like that are these 49ers. The ones you don't hear about are the ones like myself, like many other legitimate independent locksmiths who are, trying to do their best job, and we kind of get tarnished with that same brush of we're just rip-off merchants. We're just there to we only want to do one job a day, so we can go home and sit on our throne of money, which I'll tell you now is not the case. It's an expensive industry to be in. Overheads are high. Competition is high, and it gets worse and worse and worse by the many training courses that you can go on. That become a locksmith in a day. I'll tell you now, you're not going to learn a lot in a day. You're going to learn basically destructive entry, so you can get in your car with your DeWalt in the boot. The UK Locksmith Association, their training course is 4 days long. It's a bit like learning to drive a car. You don't learn anything until you're really out on the road, coming across jobs, getting something that you're scratching your head over, going, I've never seen one of these before. And even 20 years down the line, I still come across the odd thing, and I'm scratching my head going, I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what brand this is. I don't know where to get a replacement from. Is it discontinued? If it's discontinued, what can I put in place? Is there a substitute for it? There's so much that you end up learning, and they're a guy, they've been doing it 30 years, and even then they still get the odd school day. So if you've stumbled across this video and you're wanting to get into the industry, like it's a fun job. I love my job. I love doing what I do. But don't be fooled into thinking that you can do a day's course and suddenly you're a locksmith. It just doesn't work like that. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of heartache and pain that you'll go through in trying to help a customer, or you'll go to your first job and you'll go, oh shit, like I've never opened a mortise lock before. What do I do? We're all quite, I'd say close knit as an industry. We will help each other out. We don't, there's 3 other locksmiths in my town. We all work together. We've got a WhatsApp group together, and we will help each other out with parts and stuff. If somebody hasn't got one, we'll swap them out with each other. We'll give each other a bit of banter and usual sort of stuff. Back to the bait and switchers. The last one I had to deal with was a lady who she locked herself out during the day. About midday, I think she said it was. Unfortunately, she was with her elderly mum who's was getting quite frustrated and panicky. and she called the first locksmith that popped up on Google. Unfortunately, it was one of these parasites. Now, she did have a high security lock in her door, but he didn't even need to, you didn't even need to touch it. You know, there were many ways to get into the house. I mean, it took me around, I'd say about 20 seconds to get into her property. I went the next day just to offer some advice. Obviously, there was no charge on that. And I've been trying to help her get her money back from this company. Unfortunately, because these, I can't even say the word I want to say, but they always have a disclaimer on their receipt that basically says, you know, you've agreed to this. Fuck all you can do afterwards, basically. And that's not how I operate as a person. If I fit something for somebody, or if I go and do a job and they're not happy with it, I want to make sure they're happy with it. You know, I've got, you know, 150 5-star reviews across the board. You know, if I get less than a 5-star review, which so far I haven't done, I'll be distraught. Yeah, I'm proud of my 5-star reviews. I'm proud of that work. And if I haven't done a job for a customer, then it's, there's something I've got to do. I've got to look at myself and change. Yeah, but these people just don't care, you know, and the trouble is, you know, they get bad reviews, but they change the company name. They'll change the director, and then they'll do it all again. They'll rinse and repeat, rip off people, change the company name, change the directors. And there's literally nothing that can, you know, we can't do anything as an issue. We can't do anything. We can't stop it. Quite frustrating. All we can do is try and do our job and try and be that person that the customer does see when they're looking for a locksmith. You know, when they do Google it, that's why I have to pay quite a bit of money to Google every month. You know, it's a lot. It is a lot. But to finish above these arseholes, it's a price, you know, that's worth paying. Obviously, yeah, it means I do get the work as well, but at least I know that, you know, and if I can't help somebody, yeah, I've had people at 2 a.m. phone me, and I've been, because I've got the kids and the wife's away or something like that. You know, I will try and help them find a locksmith that I know is reputable and will, you know, not rip them off. I don't earn anything from that, but I would rather sleep at night knowing that I've done the best I can, for somebody who is in, you know, desperate need of help at that point. We need some form of a license, or a bit like Corgi, you know, Corgi registration for gas engineers. You know, that at the end of the day, we're going into people's homes. You know, it's supposed to be their safe space. And if you're getting people like these 49ers going into people's houses, getting aggressive when they don't want to pay an £800 bill, because, you know, that's ridiculous. Yeah, as much as we can be DBS checked, a DBS check doesn't stop you from ripping people off. It doesn't stop you being an arsehole. It just means that you haven't got any criminal records. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. If you if you've managed to get this far into the video, let us know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you've had a bad experience with a locksmith, if you've had a good experience with a locksmith, if you are a locksmith and you've had to deal with, you know, the aftermath of a 49er, let me know. Maybe something I can make a video on, you know, some of the horrible stories that have gone on, some of the horrible prices. But yeah, this is a bit of a long old ramble. If you enjoyed the video, let us know. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.